You ever wonder how that package you ordered online just shows up at your door in a couple of days? It really feels like magic, doesn't it? But it's not. It's this incredible symphony of data and systems all working together in perfect harmony. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the digital backbone of the modern supply chain. All right, let's get into it. You know, W. Edwards Deming, who was a true pioneer in quality management, he absolutely hit the nail on the head with this. See, a modern supply chain is kind of like the finely tuned engine in a Formula One car. If you don't get how every single piston, gear, and sensor works together as a process, well, you're not really racing, are you? You're just guessing. So, you ready for a little journey? We're basically going to follow a single order, from the second you click buy all the way to its arrival. And along the way, we'll explore all the amazing information systems that make it happen. We'll check out the core flows, the planning, the actual execution, the data that gets created, and of course, what the future looks like. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, before we dive into all the specific software and acronyms, we've got to lock in one really fundamental idea. In today's world, logistics is just as much about managing bits and bytes as it is about moving boxes and pallets. Think about it. Whether we're talking about a huge smartphone company sourcing parts from a dozen different countries, or just your favorite local cafe getting its weekly delivery of coffee beans, every single business on this planet relies on three fundamental flows to keep everything moving. Right? So here's the crucial part. Picture it like a three-lane highway. In one lane, you've got the physical product, the material, and it's flowing downstream from the supplier to you. In another lane, you have money flowing upstream from you to pay for everything. But that center lane, that's the real superhighway. That's information, and it's a two-way street of data that coordinates and syncs up everything else. Without it, the other two lanes would just be one giant traffic jam. Okay, so now that we get those basic flows, what's the next logical question? What kicks this whole thing off? Well, it's time to check out the brains of the operation. These powerful planning systems that set the entire supply chain in motion before a single box is even touched. Have you ever been on a site like Amazon or Netflix and it just feels like they know exactly what you want, sometimes even before you do? Yeah, that's the power of a CRM. This system is basically the company's digital memory. It stores every click, every purchase, every single interaction to create an experience that feels personalized just for you, anticipating what you're going to need next. So if the CRM is the company's memory of you, the customer, then the ERP is its central nervous system. It takes that customer demand and it connects every single department. We're talking sales, finance, manufacturing, logistics, to make sure the whole organization is working from a single source of truth to deliver on its promise. For big companies, these are massive multi-year projects, but the payoff is total visibility across the entire business. To really wrap your head around the scale of an ERP, think of it like this. Its predecessor, the MRP, was kind of like a conductor leading one brilliant orchestra in a single concert hall. But an ERP? That's like a festival maestro, simultaneously coordinating dozens of stages, hundreds of artists, and thousands of crew members all across a massive, sprawling event. It is a completely different level of coordination. All right, the plan is locked in. The resources are all allocated. So how do we make it a physical reality? This is where the digital rubber meets the physical road. This is where we track the actual movement of goods from a warehouse shelf all the way to your front door. I want you to just imagine a super busy airport. But instead of planes, you've got tens of thousands of different products. The Warehouse Management System, the WMS, is the air traffic controller for that whole space. It's orchestrating this complex, beautiful dance of forklifts, robots, and conveyor belts to get your specific package on exactly the right flight out the door. As you can see, the WMS manages every single step inside those four walls. When a truck shows up, it directs the receiving process. Then it calculates the most efficient place for put away and storage. When your order pings in, it creates the perfect path for order picking, guides the packaging station, and then finally, it confirms that your order is on the right truck for shipping. The WMS is without a doubt the boss of the warehouse. And now the package is officially on the move. This is where the Transportation Management System, or TMS, takes the wheel. This software is like the master navigator, and it's constantly analyzing this super complex world of shipping routes, fuel costs, and carrier performance to find the fastest, cheapest, and most efficient path to get to its final destination. But how do these systems actually see and keep track of millions of items all at once? Well, it's all about these tags and sensors. You've got everything from the humble barcode, which is scanned over 6 billion times every single day, to sophisticated RFID tags that can be read from a distance without even needing a direct line of sight. These little pieces of tech are the eyes and ears of the entire supply chain. The package has arrived safely, mission accomplished, right? Well, not for the information. Its story isn't over. Actually, in a lot of ways, it's just getting started. So what happens to that massive trail of digital breadcrumbs that was just created along the whole journey? Every click, every scan, every location ping, every delivery confirmation, it's all just a single drop in an ocean of data. And when you multiply that by millions of customers and products, you don't just get a puddle, you get a tidal wave of information. The real trick isn't just collecting it, it's turning all that raw data into powerful, actionable wisdom. So where do you put a tidal wave? Well, think of it this way. Storing data on-premise is like owning your own house. You've got total control, sure, but it's a massive investment in property and maintenance. Using cloud storage, on the other hand, is like renting a fantastic apartment. It's flexible, you don't have to worry about the plumbing, and it's super easy to collaborate with your partners, wherever they are in the world. Okay, the very first step in making sense of all this data is simply to look back. Descriptive analytics, it's like the post-game analysis for a sports team. It tells you exactly what happened and why. So, for example, a clothing company might see, we sold 50,000 heavy winter coats in Chicago last January. Simple as that. Now, let's get out the crystal ball. The next step is predictive analytics. This is where it gets fun. It takes all that historical data and uses it to see into the future. It'll look at 10 years of coat sales, combine it with long-range weather forecasts, and say something like, based on all the data, you're probably going to sell about 60,000 heavy winter coats in Chicago this coming January. And finally, we have the ultimate co-pilot, prescriptive analytics. This is genius-level stuff. It doesn't just tell you what's going to happen, it tells you exactly what to do about it. It would say, okay, to meet that predicted demand of 60,000 coats, you should start shipping them from your Nevada warehouse on December 10th and use Carrier Y to get the best rate and avoid the holiday rush. It's not just a forecast, it's a complete battle plan. Now, with all of this incredibly valuable data just flying around, we're talking customer info, financial records, future plans. Security is absolutely paramount. I mean, a single breach could expose millions of customers, shut down operations, and cost a company its entire reputation. That's why having a multi-layered defense, from digital firewalls to physically securing the servers, isn't just a good idea, it's essential for survival. So we've seen the powerful systems we have today. But where is all this headed? What's the next big thing? Well, there are two truly revolutionary technologies already on the horizon, and they are poised to completely rewrite the rules of the game and bring in an era of automation and transparency like we've never seen before. First up, AI, artificial intelligence. AI is this secret sauce that's making supply chains not just smarter, but self-aware and even self-healing. We're not just talking about better forecasts here. We're talking about warehouses where robots manage themselves, shipping routes that change in real time to avoid traffic accidents, and systems that can automatically renegotiate with suppliers based on performance. AI is literally turbocharging the entire system. And then you've got blockchain, the ultimate trust machine. By creating a single, unchangeable, and perfectly synchronized digital record of every single transaction that every partner can see, it completely eliminates all the guesswork and disputes. Just imagine scanning a bag of coffee and seeing the exact farm it came from, the date it was picked, and every hand it passed through on its way to you, all of it immutably verified. That is the transparent future that blockchain makes possible. So, as these incredibly intelligent systems start to take on more and more of the heavy lifting, the planning, the tracking, the analyzing, what's left for us to do? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Everything that truly makes us human. Creativity to design new products, strategic thinking to break into new markets, and the empathy to build real relationships. These are the new superpowers in the age of the intelligent supply chain. The future isn't about replacing people with machines. It's about empowering people with much smarter tools.